On the Ministry of Justice and Correctional Services has confirmed that an extradition application for the two men linked to the murder of Kiernan, aka Forbes, and Tebello, Tibz Motsoane, has been approved and sent to the Director of Public Prosecutions in Eswatini. The two brothers, Siyabonga and Malusi Ndimande, are expected back at the Manzini Magistrate's Court tomorrow to hear the formal extradition application, amongst other submissions. For more, we cross to SABC News International Editor Sophie Mokoena. Good afternoon, Sophie. We do understand that you do have the Minister of Justice on your end.
Well, we are coming live from Beachwood Hotel. As you are aware that South Africa is hosting a conference on human rights. As you know that the country will be commemorating or celebrating 30 years of democracy, 25 years since our constitution was adopted in Sharpeville. You know very well that one of the leaders who was at the forefront of writing of that constitution and the adoption of that constitution in Parliament was the current president, Cyril Ramaphosa. Who can forget that powerful speech, I'm an African, when the constitution was adopted and finally signed at Sharpeville by the then president Nelson Mandela. You know that today the focus is on issues related to the economy and investment, but tomorrow the focus will be on the human rights, not only in South Africa, but globally, as we know that South Africa's foreign policy is anchored on human rights. That issue of foreign policy comes handy, particularly when there are challenges between countries, as we saw with the International Criminal Court having to come in and look at the case between South Africa and Israel, and also issues that are related to extradition. And this morning we heard that the Department of Justice and Correctional Service has finally submitted documents for the extradition of the two suspects in Eswatini who will appear in court tomorrow in relation to the murder or the assassination of AKA. With me, I have the Minister of Justice to speak to us about this extradition, including the one with Bushiri, the Guptas, and of course we'll end with issues related to the ICJ. Minister, good afternoon. The issue of the extradition in Eswatini, why it took so long for you to submit papers?
Yeah, thank you very much, Sophie. Firstly, the extradition request, it is in line with the extradition treaty that we have with Eswatini. And it's almost a similar language to all the extradition requests that extradition treaties we have across the globe. The extradition must be submitted within 30 days after the date of arrest. It is in line with that. It is submitted within the period of 30 days. Before you submit the extradition request, there must be diplomatic engagements and also engagements between the prosecutors of our country and the prosecutors of Eswatini, which has been happening. And our prosecutors, as we speak, handling the matter, are in Eswatini to further exchange views in terms of taking the matter forward. So the papers have to be ensured that they are in compliance with the extradition treaty, they are in compliance with the laws of our country and also of Swaziland. And that has been complied with. The extradition has been submitted within time, in line with the extradition agreement, and there is good cooperation between the two countries.
Minister, why you chose the extradition process? It takes a long time. But we are told that the two suspects left South Africa and they didn't follow the procedure to enter that country. So it's a simple matter of deportation. Why did you choose extradition, not deportation?
Yeah, remember, issues of deportation lies with the receiving country, and in this regard is Eswatini. So if they had broken laws and whatever, it's the country of Eswatini that needs to decide whether they want to deport people that are in their country illegally or not. Ourselves, in terms of our processes, we have to follow what the Extradition Act says in terms of people who have left our country and that are wanted who are in another country. It is the responsibility of the receiving country. If they want to deport whoever, it's unwanted, and that could have been decided by the state of Eswatini.
The issue of Bushiri, the courts in Malawi are still handling this matter. Some people are saying the NPA is not doing a good job to ensure that this matter is concluded.
Yeah, that argument is lacks substance. As you are aware, we have scored significant legal victories in Malawi through the extradition issues that Mr. Bushiri and his co-accused, his wife, had raised points in Malawi. They have succeeded in some matters, but as per majority of judgments, we have succeeded in Malawi, and you'll be aware that...
When is he coming to South Africa?
Yeah, if you allow me to conclude the question, to answer the question. Firstly, you will be aware that the NPA and the officials of the Department of Justice were in Malawi last week to testify on the extradition process. Unfortunately, it could not be concluded because of reasons that are known to the other party, Bushiri himself. You are aware we were there, we were ready, and we are ready again on the date the matter has been postponed to, which is in May. Our officials and the NPA will be in Malawi, ready to testify, ready to bring him back to our country. So once that has been concluded, the magistrate will make a decision that he is extraditable to South Africa, wherein the Minister of Justice in Malawi will therefore sign the certificate to bring him to our country or not sign it on whatever reasons. So we will await that outcome. We have decided that we will follow the matter through to its logical conclusion, and once that is concluded, he will definitely be coming back to South Africa to account.
The Guptas, they are still out there. They are still using South African documents. How far is this process? And I remember the Minister of Home Affairs saying that he is going to start the process to ensure that they don't have to use the South African documents. But as we speak, I'm sure where they are still using South African documents.
Yeah, obviously that is for the Minister of Home Affairs to respond to. On our side, we continue to engage with the central authority in the UAE, and I can state that the NPA was supposed to be engaging with the prosecutors in the UAE to enable us to resubmit the extradition request, because as you are aware, we have not yet been given the reasons why the first one did not succeed. We can submit the one we have, but if we are not told why it did not succeed, we will be fishing in the sea, which will be a most difficult thing. So they need to tell us what were the issues, because from our side, we believe everything was compliant, it was done. So we have sent a lot of questions. They were supposed to meet with the NPA, and the meeting did not happen from their side, and we're even saying it can even be done virtually. So up to this stage, I can state that there is no cooperation from the UAE in regards to helping the NPA to resubmit the extradition request.
Finally, Minister, yesterday Israel responding to South Africa's request for additional provisional measures, particularly after the attack at Rafah. Israel saying that South Africa is abusing international law and the International Court of Justice. Your response?
Our further request is done in line with the rules of the ICJ, is done with international treaties and in line with the jurisprudence of the International Court of Justice. So it can't be abused, because the situation has deteriorated since the court has made the ruling, and all institutions across the globe, including the Friends of Israel, Germany, you have seen a day or so ago, the US themselves, also their friends, are saying the situation has deteriorated. There is a need for a ceasefire. Now the whole globe is in agreement that there must be a ceasefire, and the only way to help with the humanitarian aid and assistance and to avoid any form of famine is when a ceasefire is in place and humanitarian aid is allowed.
The ANC list is out. Are you coming back?
Yeah. No.
When I spoke to the former president of the ANC, Kgalema Motlanthe, spoke about young people in the list.
Yeah, you have seen it.
Are you coming back?
Yeah, I've accepted the responsibility. It's a humbling experience to be given such a responsibility by such a big organization, but also to be part of those that continue to participate in rebuilding our country. And I think also the list has got a very good mixture of young and old, which augurs very well for our future, because we do need the experience. It must be balanced with the young ones, and I think the young ones are a majority in that list. It will give us the necessary rejuvenation to continue where we have left off, to conclude the struggle to transform our country. As you can see, already the forces that are coming together are opposed to transformation. So I do think that we need to conclude that leg of economic transformation, and that is what is also coming out of the conference.
Thank you so much, Minister, for your time. That is the Minister of Correctional Service, but we were talking about issues related to justice. As you know, that he is also the Minister of Justice in South Africa. As the country is celebrating 30 years of democracy, issues of law, of constitution, particularly because the South African foreign policy is anchored around the human rights, but also these treaties, these are international treaties that are being used by countries when there are challenges, and I think the minister spoke to that. But let's see what's going to happen tomorrow. Our colleagues from Mpumalanga, they are currently traveling to Eswatini. They will bring you that case in Eswatini tomorrow, and don't miss news from SABC at any minute, at any hour, any day, any year. Trust SABC.
Thank you so much to Sophie Mokoena, the SABC News International editor.